December 13, 2024. Hello, Bachelor Nation news fans. Welcome back to the channel. The Golden Bachelorette couple Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple are engaged and very much in love, but their relationship is moving so fast that it's possible that she might leave him someday. Joan, a 61-year-old private school administrator from Rockville, Maryland, and Chock, a 60-year-old insurance executive from Wichita, Kansas, are currently looking for a place to live in New York City. They'll be moving there, while also keeping their houses in their home states. Before the Golden Bachelorette Season 1 even began, Joan made it very clear that she'd never leave her family, which consists of her 4 adult children, 3 grandchildren, 92-year-old mother, and mother-in-law, who's her late husband John's mom. On Joan and Chock's final date together, he presented her with a heart-shaped keychain and said that he wanted to move to New York City with her. Although Joan seems to be on board with this plan, it wasn't her original intention, and things are moving so fast that there are signs that she might end up getting cold feet and leaving Chock. The Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos left The Golden Bachelor early for her family. During Jerry Turner's Golden Bachelor season, Joan left the show early because her daughter was experiencing postpartum depression. She was forming a strong connection with Jerry, but when her daughter called her, she dropped everything to return home to her, which was very admirable. Joan thought that maybe she'd return to the show, but she put her daughter first, and it never happened. When Joan was cast in her own Golden Bachelorette season, she made it clear that she'd never leave her family. However, Chock still presented her with a plan to get their own place in New York City, which isn't exactly around the corner from Maryland. As soon as Joan and Chock went public with their relationship during the November 13 finale, they began searching for an apartment in New York City. While Joan said that it's always been her and Chock's dream to live there, it's all happening very fast. If Joan's family needs her again, or she simply wants to be there for them, living in New York City with Chock is going to be an obstacle to that. It's easy to imagine that Joan might leave a man she's only known for a few months in order to attend to the family who's loved her for a lifetime. Joan's children lost their father, John, to pancreatic cancer in 2021, which was only 3 years ago. They're most likely still healing from that, and they need their mom close to them. Joan almost left the Golden Bachelorette because her mother was sick. During the Golden Bachelorette, Joan's 92-year-old mother, Mary, became ill with a respiratory infection. Her family called her during filming, and she wondered if she'd once again have to return home. Joan also expressed how guilty she felt that she wasn't there for her mother during her illness. Although Mary thankfully recovered and even traveled to Los Angeles for the Golden Bachelorette finale, it's a fact that she's in her 90s and will certainly need more care as she gets older. Joan not only feels obligated to her family, but she loves them very much. If her mother needs her while she's in New York City with Chock, she'll most certainly drop everything to return to Maryland in order to take care of her. Joan and Chock's relationship is moving so quickly that Joan doesn't seem to have had time to consider how moving to New York City could negatively impact her family, and her relationship with Chock in the future. However, if it came down to her having to choose between Chock and her mother, her actions on the Golden Bachelorette prove that she might leave him. Moving to New York City wasn't Joan's idea. Because moving to New York City wasn't Joan's idea, but rather something presented to her by Chock, she might come to regret the decision. While it was fun for them to get caught up in the fantasy world of the Golden Bachelorette, the reality is that the show is over, and now they must settle into their real lives. Living in New York City alone with Chock doesn't seem to fit in with Joan's original plan to stay in Maryland near her family. It was shocking that she agreed to it, and it could end up tearing them apart rather than bringing them closer together. The Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos should have ended her season when she fell in love with Chock Chapple. Claire Crawley had the right idea. The Golden Bachelorette's Joan Vassos has admitted that she fell in love with Chock early in her season, so she should have ended it like Claire did. Joan might come to resent Chock because, during the show, he seemed to want to have her all to himself. He was sometimes possessive of her, which Joan interpreted and appreciated as attentiveness. But it's easy to imagine that he'd always want her to put him first in her life. If Chock ever asks Joan to choose between him and her family, he most likely won't like her decision. Joan and Chock's engagement was a shocker. Joan didn't begin the Golden Bachelorette intending to get engaged. Before Joan's Golden Bachelorette season began, she expressed that she would be just as happy leaving in a relationship as she would be getting engaged. She thought that people should get to know each other in the real world before taking such a major step in their relationship. Joan also saw Jerry and Theresa Nist's Golden Bachelor marriage end in divorce after just 3 months, so she knew that there was value in taking things slowly. This is why it was shocking that Joan did accept Chock's proposal at the end of the Golden Bachelorette. It seemed to go against her philosophy of moving slowly because the only next step now is for them to get married. If they'd left in a relationship, they could have taken some time to get to know each other better and then gotten engaged. Now the pressure is on for them to walk down the aisle, which was something that Joan said that she didn't want to jump into. Joan could end up leaving Chock if she feels that there's too much emphasis on rushing into marriage. Although Joan and Chock seem very happy and meant to be, their relationship is moving at lightning speed. Based on her past interactions with her family and what she said she wants for her future, if things don't slow down, she could end up getting scared and leaving Chock. However, hopefully this won't happen, and Joan and Chock's plans to move to New York City and eventually get married will result in them living happily ever after. Today, we're diving into the whirlwind romance between the Golden Bachelorette couple, Joan Vassos and Chock Chapple. While the couple is currently engaged and very much in love, their relationship is moving so fast that it raises questions about whether Joan might one day leave Chock. As much as fans adore the pair, signs suggest that their relationship could face challenges, and fast-paced decisions may lead Joan to second-guess her commitment. Let's explore why this might happen. A whirlwind romance, from show to real life. Joan Vassos, a 61-year-old private school administrator from Rockville, Maryland, and Chock Chapple, a 60-year-old insurance executive from Wichita, Kansas, met on the Golden Bachelorette and quickly fell head over heels for each other. Now, the couple is planning to move to New York City while keeping their respective homes in Maryland and Kansas. While this sounds exciting, it's clear that the relationship speed has raised some red flags. Before the Golden Bachelorette even aired, Joan emphasized her strong ties to her family, 4 adult children, 3 grandchildren, a 92-year-old mother, and her late husband's mother. Despite these commitments, Joan has agreed to a significant life change with Chock, leaving fans wondering if she'll eventually feel the need to prioritize her family over her newfound romance. Joan's family, a lifelong commitment. Joan's devotion to family. Family has always been at the center of Joan's life. During Jerry Turner's Golden Bachelor season, Joan left the show early when her daughter experienced postpartum depression. Although she had a strong connection with Jerry, Joan didn't hesitate to put her family first. This selfless act demonstrated Joan's unwavering devotion to her loved ones. When Joan accepted the lead role in the Golden Bachelorette, she made it clear that she'd never abandon her family. Yet, moving to New York City with Chock is a significant departure from this promise. If her family needs her again, especially her children, who are still healing from the loss of their father to pancreatic cancer just 3 years ago, Joan may feel torn between her responsibilities and her relationship. Her mother's health. Joan's 92-year-old mother, Mary, is another factor that could complicate her relationship with Chock. During the Golden Bachelorette, Mary fell ill with a respiratory infection, prompting Joan to consider leaving the show once again. While Mary recovered and even attended the finale, it's undeniable that her advanced age will require increasing care. If Joan is far away in New York City, she might struggle with guilt and the logistical challenges of being present for her mother. One of the most intriguing aspects of Joan and Chock's relationship is their decision to move to New York City. While Joan has expressed excitement about this new chapter, it's worth noting that the idea wasn't originally hers. Chock introduced the plan during their final date on the Golden Bachelorette, presenting Joan with a heart-shaped keychain and proposing the move. Although Joan appeared enthusiastic, this decision deviates from her initial intention to remain close to her family in Maryland.